Okay, so this video is long overdue, and basically, I'm just going to be talking about how I blew $75,000 in one day on funded accounts. So let's get started, right? I was in class, okay? I was in class. I had five XFAs, $15,000 across five 150Ks, and I blew it all in one morning before New York session even started. So this was like in my 8 a.m. class, 8:30 a.m. I hop on the charts. All I need is eight 200 winning dollar days with Top Step to get my $25,000 payout. Actually $50,000 payout because I needed three winning days to secure $25,000, and then I needed another five winning days to secure another $25,000. So putting me at $50,000 on those accounts. So I hop on the charts. I see we're in a downtrend, and I'm thinking, okay, I just need 3.5 points with three contracts on NQ, right? So I enter shorts, and unironically, I end up bottom ticking at that very moment. So price ends up going against me. I close my position for around $750. Keep in mind, I just need 200 winning $200, and I just lock out of my accounts. Seeing that, that just activated me right into tilt mode. Just seeing that $750 because I'm like over leveraging, right, just to secure $200 and lock out my account. So that was the first mistake. Second mistake is I lose $750. I should just be done. I should just hop off. All I need is eight winning days, and I'll still get a $25,000, $50,000 payout. But obviously, I want to make it back because I'm so angry at the market for taking my $200 away from me, right? From taking my chance to secure $200 away from me and putting me down $750. So, what do I do next? Well, I over leverage, right? I go in with five contracts. I hold longer than I'm supposed to be holding. Now I'm down $3,500. New York session hasn't even opened yet. What do I do again? Double down. 10 contracts, right? I only need a few points. I'm following the trend now. Now I'm long. Doesn't end up working out. I see I'm down $2,000. I'm like, okay, I'll close. Now I'm down, $5,500. At this point, I'm so pissed because I threw away everything that I made almost, right? From Friday. Friday was a big day for me. I made $7,500 across 500 accounts. And I go in 15 cons. I hold it. I'm like, okay, this is it. Either I make back what I've lost or I lose the accounts. I lost all my accounts. Now, the thing is, this actually happened recently. So this was in March, 2 months ago, after becoming consistently profitable. So in September is when I had my first 10K month, and all the months before that, I was getting payouts, but my first five-figure month was in September. From January 2024 to around May, I was break even. There were 2 months where I didn't get payouts. So I was getting payouts, putting them into funded accounts, and then, the whole cycle again. And my breakout stage was during August, had my first 5K month, and then scaled September 10K month, November 15K month, December, January, two 20K months, February, my biggest month ever, 50K month, right? So now I'm going in thinking, okay, I made my 50K month in January. So I had 10K across all my funded accounts, right? So I take a 5K payout on each. So that's 25K. I did that again and I get to 50K. And I've had these accounts since January. So I've already made a good amount of money, right? In January, I took 20K. In February, I took 50K. So that puts me at $70,000 withdrawn from those same 5 accounts that I've kept from January. Okay. Now going into March, I'm thinking that I can do the same shit as I did in February, right? And technically I did, but obviously it doesn't mean shit until it lands in your bank account. Because all of this is just simulated money until you actually submit your payout. So going into March, I had $5,000 across all 5 accounts, and I was trading normally, right? So I had a good setup, took it, $2,000 across 5 accounts. So that puts me at 7K balance on like 7.5K across all 5 accounts. Now, 2 days later, I go into Friday in March, and I had my biggest day yet, right? So 7.5K across all 5 accounts. So that's what I made in that day. So that puts my balance at $15,000 across all 5 accounts. And that's how I ended up blowing my accounts. I got greedy. And that's really what kills you, right? I'm definitely sure a lot of you guys have heard the same thing, right? Greed kills everybody. And it's true, right? It does. It's killed me. It's probably killed a bunch of you guys who might have been in the same position as me, where you blow all of your accounts. You're eligible for a payout. You just need to secure some winning days, and you just end up blowing your accounts, right? That's happened to me before. Before I was profitable. But you may think, it's a little bit surprising now, right? Because like you may be asking, bro, you're profitable. You said you're making all this money, but how could you do this to yourself, right? And I mean, you're not wrong. Like, I still don't like. How could I do this to myself, right? Like, I have a profitable system. I've gotten consistent payouts, but how are you still letting yourself blow $75,000 in funded accounts? Now, it's crazy how trading works because you can be like consistently profitable, and you can still have days like this where you just completely fuck up and lose control and just blow your like everything that you've built up in one session, bro. One session, right? But that's the good thing about prop firms. You can blow these accounts, and you can still buy another 5 funded accounts and get back to the same spot to where you're at. But you don't have the same luxury as you do with the live account, right? Where you're putting your own personal funds in, so you have to treat it a little bit more seriously. Now, thing is, it didn't really hurt as much because I already withdrew $70,000 from these accounts, but it still hurt because I had an opportunity to have my back-to-back 50K months, and all I was thinking about, even before blowing those accounts, is that when I had my first 7.5K winning day on all 5 of those accounts, I'm like, holy shit, like I'm about to withdraw this money. It's about to be in my bank account in like 10 days. I'm in college. Nobody else on campus is making the same amount of money that I am. Like, in that moment, I'm like, bro, I'm fucking him. Like, I'm really doing the shit, right? I'm really doing everything that I said I was going to do when I first started trading. And I let the ego get to me, right? I let everything that I said I wasn't going to do happen to me. And yeah, I end up blowing all my accounts. So one thing that I did after blowing those accounts, what I shouldn't have done, is I spent a week in my dorm just rotting. Literally, I was not eating. I was barely sleeping. I was almost crying at a point, bro, because $50,000 that I could have withdrawn was blown in one morning. Something that should like never happen and should not have happened, but it ended up happening. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I let just like everything kind of crumble, right? I wasn't really focusing on school that week as well. I didn't go to most of my classes. And after a while, like towards the end of the week, you kind of just reflect, right? You're like, bro, if I stop now, then all of this is for nothing. Even though I've made money, all of this is for nothing, right? All of this work you put in is for nothing. So coming to that self-realization after that week, I hop back on, right? My mental is getting a little bit better. I'm ready to trade again. Now, what I promised myself was after that day, my next payout, which I knew I was going to get no matter what, if I follow my rules, I can't lose. So for the next payout, I was going to go straight to the bank and withdraw it and hold it in my hand. Wait on it, just sit on it for the weekend and just know that this money is real, right? Because at the end of the day, bro, not even just trading, but all this online money shit, like everything in e-commerce, bro, it can seem like it's not real, right? You're just seeing numbers on a screen. You're seeing numbers on your dashboard if you're doing drop shipping. You're seeing numbers like, your realized P&L, your unrealized P&L. It's just all numbers on a screen. And even to the point where you're getting that payout, you're submitting that request, you're getting the funds straight to your bank. You open up your bank account. What do you see? It's still numbers on a screen. And I should have done this way sooner because I didn't really understand the value of money, right? It's really hard to grasp the understanding of the amount of money that you're making, like trading or doing any sort of online money venture, right? Like even just securing a $200 winning day, bro, on like a funded account or anything like that, bro. You were working for $15 an hour, right? For 8 hours straight. What does that add up to? Bro, that's $220 in one day. And you're making that $200 in like a fucking minute. So you can definitely get lost in the amount of money that you're making because with trading, right, there is an endless opportunity of just making money. And you can make as much money as you want, and you can lose as much money as you can, right? Even more as well. You can go into debt. So what I recommend is if you are in a position where you're able to take a life-changing payout, like a 5-figure payout, or just like any sort of significant payout in trading, once you take that payout, go straight to the bank. I'm telling you, go straight to the bank, ask for it in cash, hold it in your hand, take some pictures, just actually understand that this money that you're making is real, right? The money that you're making is 100% real, and you did this, right? You are the one that made the money, nobody else. But yeah, so after that, after I got my 20K payout in April, that's what I did. And then in May, I also secured another 20K payout. So I'm back on track on my regular schedule, right? I'm sticking to my rules, and I really have not like fucked up that big, right? I take a losing day, I walk off because my losing day is because I followed my model. My losing day wasn't because I see a downtrend or I see an uptrend and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'd see $200 and I'll just lock out of my account. That never ends up happening, right? That never ends up happening. So if you're able to not do what I did, if you're able to have that mindset where you're able to make the money back, like it will come, you have to trust the probabilities. And if you do lose with your model, it's fine because you've back tested all of this data, you've built a model for yourself, and you know that your next trade has a certain percentage amount of winning, right? And once you deviate from your model, you don't know the probabilities. You are straight gambling. And yeah, I just had a reminder, right? I with me blowing those accounts, it was just a reminder that in that moment I was purely gambling. I was not following the model that has made me over 6 figures in payouts. Why did I not follow that? Well, because I was greedy, for one. For two, I just needed $200. But I never realized that, bro, $200, that's still a lot of money, right? Even with 3 contracts, all I need is 3.5 points. I'm not valuing that $200. I'm just entering the market. I'm hoping that the market moves in the same direction for 3.5 points. I'm not thinking, I'm not doing any analysis. I'm just seeing bearish candles. I enter, I'm hoping, I'm praying, and then when it doesn't work out, I tilt. Now, do you want that to happen to you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And it is hard at first, right? Like, you still will have times where you fuck up, you don't follow your rules, but it's about how much of a loss that you take. That's what will determine the situation that you're in, right? If you completely go on tilt, you'll end up blowing all of your accounts, right? You'll end up all the profits that you've built over maybe 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, right? I've had those accounts for over 30 days. I've had those accounts since January. I've had over 30 winning days. And all it took was one pre-market session to blow all of those accounts. So if you're able to control your mind, if you're able to realize that you're able to make this money back if you just wait for the next setup, then theoretically, right, there should be no issues. You should be getting payouts every time. But thing is, when humans trade, it doesn't work like that. You're going to get emotional sometimes, and shit like this happens, right? A lot of people talk about having, your Canon event in trading. But they don't talk about, having maybe multiple Canon events, right? Which is possible. And that is kind of what happened to me. So my first Canon event was before I was profitable, right? Obviously. I was working as a basketball referee. I was saving up money, got into trading, didn't know what I was doing. I was blowing all my money on funded accounts. And there was a point to where I was $50. I had $50 to my name, and I opened up a credit card to afford an eval. And I was at a point where if I didn't get a payout, I would have been in debt. So that was obviously a stupid decision, but that was my Canon event. And I ended up getting a payout on that account. So I made my first $1,000, and I paid off my credit card, and I had a little bit of money. So I reinvested that into more funded accounts, and that's how I got to the position to where I'm at now. But my second Canon event was in March, where I blew all of my accounts, $15,000 in profit across all 5 accounts, after becoming profitable, after proving to myself that I can consistently make money and follow my model. So that may happen to you guys, right? I'm not wishing it does, but I just want you to be prepared when it does happen, because if it does happen, then you just can't lose control and just think about quitting, right? Because you're too far in at this point. You're already consistently profitable, and you made one horrible decision that you should not have made, obviously. But it's happened, and now what are you going to do about it, right? Are you going to let this affect you, and you're just going to keep going down that downward spiral, right? That horrible path where after that you're like, okay, there's no hope for me. And you just keep buying evals, and you just keep, not following your system, full porting them, losing all your accounts, going through that cycle, and then you'll never pass a funded account again, right? Because you're so overconfident, you're like, okay, I've done this before, I can do this again, right? And you don't end up following the system that got you to that place. So that is a very big downfall for most traders, and I'm really happy that I realized that before I ended up going down that path, because I very well could have went down that path. I very well could have said, bro, I missed the opportunity to secure another $50,000 payout. My life is over. Even though I withdrew like over 6 figures in payouts, right? I can just let this $50,000 loss fuck me up completely and just go down a downward spiral of just wasting all of the money that I've earned on evals, just giving back everything I've earned to evals to back to top step and just let it ruin my life, right? Either I can let that happen or I can take a week to myself, lock in again, reset my mind, and do everything that I was doing before that was making me profitable. So I had that mindset shift. I used this as a lesson, and now I'm back on track, right? So now I'm making my consistent income these past 2 months, right? I'm not gonna say the word consistent because it varies, right? You're not going to be making 20K a month every month, right? In March, I didn't even end up making any money from funded accounts, so I didn't get any payouts in March. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm back on my regular schedule, right? I'm following all my rules. I'm not letting emotions get in the way of it because that day still haunts me. Like whatever bullshit that I did in March just completely haunts me. To this day, I still think about it, bro. And just having a lesson like that, right? Just like I'm not saying it's a good thing, right? I'm not saying to put yourself in that position, but I'm just saying if that happens to you, let it be a lesson rather than letting it just take over your life, right? Just letting it completely alter the rest of your the rest of your trajectory. So if you can take anything from this video, I think the most important thing would be once you get that significant payout, bro, please go straight to the bank, withdraw it in cash, hold it in your hand. Actually tell yourself that this money is real. Sit with it for a couple of days. Go back to the bank, deposit it, and I'm telling you, things will be different, bro. You will look at money and trading a lot more differently than you are right now. Yeah, but this is just me being like completely transparent with you guys. I know that some of you guys might be going through a tough time right now, especially in May. I know that the markets aren't the best right now. But yeah, if you guys are dealing with some sort of problems, you can drop it in the comments. I'll try to help you out. You can click the link in my description if you want to join my free Discord and ask me questions there, or you can always DM me. I'll try to help you guys out as much as possible. But yeah, I hope you guys were able to learn something from this video and hopefully not make the same mistake that I did.